Welcome, everyone, to Debatable Delaney, the show where we appreciate hot takes and get relatable and debatable. I mean, that's debatable. Now that's debatable. Today, I am joined by Drew. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
Today, we're doing a draft debate, which is one of the many forms of this podcast. And today we're going to be drafting the top 5 biggest pet peeves.
I've got a lot of anger in me, so this is a really good subject to be on the show for.
Okay, so when I was creating my list, I was getting very angry.
Oh, no, it was infuriating because I just reminded myself of all those things that I hate.
Yeah.
Honestly, we should have done things that make you happy, like small wins, but pet peeves was more of a visceral experience for me.
Well, and it's so funny, when I was making the list, all the things that have happened to me recently obviously come top of mind. So I'm nervous that the things I'm going to say, people need to think about how they've been treating me for the past couple of weeks, because this might be a direct attack.
Yeah, there's a lot of anecdotes in here that, if you're listening to this and you think that I'm talking about you, I probably am.
No one is safe. Okay, well, as my guest, do you want to kick us off with your number 1 pick?
Sure. And I'll preface this by saying I commute to work, so I spend a lot of time in the car. A lot of mine are car related.
Interesting. None of mine are car related.
That's great. You're not going to steal many of mine. All right. My number 1 pick, and this might be a little bit controversial, is jaywalking.
That's your number 1 pick?
Don't get me, okay. Pet
That's
peeves.
crazy.
Pet peeves are small inconveniences. And I love jaywalking. Don't get me wrong. I cross the street all the time, not in the crosswalk. I'm talking about a particular type of jaywalker.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, there's 2 ways you should cross the street.
Okay.
Way number 1, go to a crosswalk. And since you're in a crosswalk, you have the legal right of way.
Right.
Cars will stop.
Right.
And then you may cross the street.
Yeah.
Way number 2, which is convenient a lot of the time, is look both ways.
Uh-huh.
There's no cars.
Right.
So just cross the street wherever the hell you want to cross the street.
Right.
My pet peeve is people who like to combine the methods and they just, not in the crosswalk, jump out in front of the street.
Right.
And then you have to slam on your brakes in your car.
Did you almost hit someone recently?
Not almost hit someone, but the thing that infuriates me about them is without fail, every single one takes a little hop jog into the street. You slam on your brakes to stop, and then they stop and they turn to you and they give you this shit-eating little grin and a wave. Thanks.
Okay, that has never happened to me. I feel like this happened to you once.
Kidding? No, this happens to me weekly.
Where?
Someone just runs out across the street and they always wave as if thanks, we're working together, but really I want to hit you with my car.
Oh, so they're jogging and they're like, oh, thank you. They're not stopping in front of your car.
No. They're just giving that little thanks for slowing down for me crossing the street wave. And that little shit-eating grin, I know I'm doing something illegal, but we're in this together, but we're not. You just made me slow down in my car, and you didn't cross the street in a legal manner.
Well, I think that part of the reason that happens now is because people are wearing headphones, so they don't really have a great sense of their surroundings. And so they probably don't realize they're crossing right in front of you. And then they're like, oh, shoot, I made a mistake. Thank you. And you're reading it as them being
I think you have a remarkably optimistic view of the world, and I think there's more assholes out there than
this
you're
has
getting
never
credit for.
happened to me. So it's crazy that something that has never happened to me is your number 1 pick for top 5 biggest pet peeves.
Well, to be fair, I didn't rate these in order of how much they infuriated me.
Okay. You just thought that I was going to pick that one?
It was just top of mind, and I wanted to get it out of the way early.
Okay. Have you seen the New Girl episode where Jess and Nick are going on their first date and they jaywalk 6 times and they get pulled over by the police every time?
Yes, I have seen that episode.
So funny.
It's
so
very funny.
I
really empathize with the police in that movie.
Say that a little louder. I think people...
I really empathize with the police.
Okay,
in that
next we're going to be talking. That's the clip we needed. Okay, my number 1 pick is something way worse.
Okay.
It is the lazy liar. So it's someone that gives you a white lie and then posts on social media, which proves that they were lying, or you see them out, which proves they were lying. Just, that's a shitty person, and I hate that type of person.
So the like, so tired, I think I'm just going to have a early night. Sorry, I can't make it.
Yeah.
And then they're at bus stop and it's 2:30 a.m. and they're like, dirty dogs, selfie.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that person sucks. If you're that person, you suck.
And like, it's almost better. Like, I hate them less if they post on their social media and I'm like, what a asshole. But if I see them in someone else's social media, so like they were trying to get away with it and someone else outs them, I'm like, screw you.
Yeah, you're like, at least own that you're being an asshole in this situation. Like, at least be like, oh, I totally bailed on Delaney.
Yeah.
And I'm going out and I'm so shameless about it that I'm going to post an Instagram story about it.
Right.
Don't be like hiding behind someone in a selfie because you don't want people to know where you were.
Yeah. Also, like, why do people think that we're all so sensitive these days? Like, just tell me the truth of why you can't come. I'm a very understanding person.
Just like, I'd love to come to your party, but I'd rather eat a pint of ice cream and watch the Titanic. So, fuck you, Delaney. I'm staying home.
Or like, I found better plans. Then I would at least get a good chuckle.
Exactly. Like, hey, that sounds really fun. That dinner party sounds great. It's with a bunch of people I kind of know. And this girl I think is really cute invited me to her thing. I'm going to go to that.
Totally. Hell yeah. Love that.
Okay. I can't really debate that one. That person just
Sucks. Don't do that, guys. Okay, let's hear your number 2.
Okay. Number 2 is kind of it's a combo of 2, but they're both very related.
Okay.
So it's when you have to create an account for the dumbest shit. Like
online?
Yeah, like my mom texted me a link and it said, join my dinner reservation.
Okay, yeah.
And I clicked that link and I had to go through like 9 pages of give me your email address, give me your password, what's your last 4 of your social? Like, can you complete our survey about, and then
dual
you
factor
have
authentication.
Exactly. And now you have an account for this stupid app that you've never used before and will never use again.
Right.
And then they're also just sending you a bunch of emails, and that's my pet peeve. It's annoying.
That's a bad one.
It's not done yet, though. This is a combo piece with...
Okay.
The real pet peeve in here is also when you do have an account with something, and you put in your username, and then you have to put in your password, and it's like, I have 3 passwords I use for everything or whatnot. My pet peeve is when the password doesn't tell you what the password requirements were when you made the password.
Okay, that's an easy fix.
No.
So you need to get that app 1Password where it tracks all your passwords.
I know, but like for things that you're not, because if I'm going to use 1Password, I'm not going to go through the effort of like putting all of my passwords into it that first time if it's something I'm going to use like 6 times in my life.
Yeah, I don't use 1Password, but I think it does it automatically. Well, I don't have that pet peeve.
Well, I also don't use 1Password, so I guess neither of us are experts on this.
I don't mind just saying I forgot my password.
But then you have to change it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And you're just going to click forgot my password every single time you ever log into that
so
account.
many people I'm sure are stealing my identity. Like, it's probably good to get some fresh passwords up in here.
I just can't stand when I'm like, oh, I tried like the password I use for everything. And like, I wish I'd known. I wish it had told me like, just a reminder for this one. Yeah. You need a capital letter, a lowercase letter, an emoji, and 7 digits of your social security number in your password.
Right.
And then I'd be like, of course I know what my password is. It's alligator heart big D 69.
Right. Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. My number 2 for worst pet peeves is people that ask for advice but never take it. Ooh. And this happens to me all the time where someone will come up to me and like tell me this long story and then I'll give them my advice. And honestly, I'm fine with them not taking it. But if they choose not to take it, then I don't want to hear this problem again. And
yep.
I have like a 3 strikes rule where like if they tell me about it the first time and I give them advice, whatever, they can like not listen. They can tell me about it again and I'm going to give advice again. If they bring it up a 3rd time and they haven't taken any steps and they're still complaining about the same shit, like I don't have any time for that. I'm sorry.
You have to be just like, I'm not going to give you any more advice. I will listen to you complain.
No,
but
I can't
I'm going
do that
to play
either.
on my phone while you do it. Like,
that's like one of my worst traits. I cannot listen to people complain without taking any action.
Oh, you're not just like, there's not like a vent at me. It's like, okay, but I'm going to solve this.
Yeah.
Well, that might be my pet peeve. It's like sometimes you don't need to offer a solution. It's like insulting sometimes when you're like, here's this problem I have. And the other person's just like, well, bro, if you just drank more water. Like,
right.
What are you talking about? It's so easy.
Right. But yes. So I feel like you're right that there's a happy medium of like you need to be able to listen without offering advice all the time. Mm-hmm. But if there's a problem that keeps coming up.
Yeah.
I just have I have no interest in listening to someone wallow in self-pity when there's clear steps they could be taking. And if we've talked about it more than once, like clearly it's a problem that needs solving versus like you can complain one day and be like, I had the worst day because this person was being really bitchy. And I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to try to solve that.
Yeah.
But if you bring it up to me 5 times, then I'm like, I'm so sick of hearing about this. You need to get it together.
Yeah.
Or just get out.
Especially coupled with like, while they're complaining, they're always like, and I should do this and I should do that. And they like identify what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they keep complaining. It's like, well, did you do this or did you do that? And they're like, well, obviously not. Like,
and the type of person that does that happens to also be the type of person that like never asks you about you. So they'll like come to you and be like, oh my God, I have the worst scenario. This happened and this happened. And you'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Give them steps. And then they'll be like, okay, it was so good to see you.
Yeah.
And they won't like ask how you are.
Uh-huh.
So that's a big one.
This one feels very targeted.
It is. At multiple people. No one is safe.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'm like sitting here like, have I had this interaction with Delaney in the last month? Like,
No.
Of course not.
No. And I'm sure I do my pet peeves too. When I was thinking about this list and when I was thinking about recording this pod, I was like, this is a dangerous one because like I am positive I do some of these.
Oh, totally. I mean, yeah, I expect to be very hypocritical in a lot of mine.
Okay, perfect.
Just good. Well, speaking of targeted pet peeves, this one is incredibly targeted.
Okay.
I hate when people save just a teeny tiny amount of food in the refrigerator for no other reason than like it's just going to sit there and then it's going to spoil and then we're going to have to throw it out.
Okay.
And I'm talking about like, oh, you made some mashed potatoes and chicken and roasted vegetables for dinner, like average to below average dinner.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I'm going to save a spoon of mashed potatoes, like a single soggy carrot and 1/4 of a chicken breast.
Right.
And I'm going to put it in the Tupperware. I'm going to put it in the fridge as if I have any intention of ever reheating and eating that food.
Right.
And then 4 months later or whatever, you just pick it up and it's all moldy.
4 months later?
Well, I have this roommate, or this old roommate, you know, who is notorious for doing this. I'll protect his, I'll let him be anonymous. Let's call him, like, Tarek. And yeah, he would always just make food, really great cook, and then save the tiniest, insignificant amounts of it as if he would ever eat them. And they wouldn't possibly constitute, like, reheating for lunch. It was like, maybe you would reach your hand in and eat the entirety of the food that was saved in one bite.
Okay. And why would you prefer that he throw it all away?
See, this is where I could get some backlash.
Okay.
Because people are going to be like
getting
flaming
really
me
controversial
and being like, oh yeah, like I get it. You hate the world. You hate the environment and
he
you
loves
want to
the police
waste. Yep.
And he hates the environment.
I can't believe that got clipped. If it's like one bite of food, just eat it.
Yeah.
Just eat it then and there. Right. And I know like, oh, you should stop eating when you're full. Like, whatever. Just eat the food right there or throw it out. If it's going to get thrown out anyways.
Right. My third pet peeve. So my top, I'm actually shocked that we haven't had any crossover, which makes all of my top 3 like really personal and targeted.
Oh, good, good.
My third is when someone says, "Why are you mad?" or "Calm down" when you're having a normal conversation.
They just like the power dynamic immediately just like flips. And you're just
and
like,
then I'm defending that
exactly.
I'm like having a normal conversation with someone. And obviously I get mad when someone says that.
Yeah. And the more you like try to convince them that you're not mad, the more it seems like you are in fact mad.
Totally. It's like the easiest way to get someone angry. Like, especially me, someone who like loves debating and having like honest conversations with people. I'll be having a conversation like this.
So calm down.
Like, it makes me wanna murder them. Like, I'm like, are you stupid? Like, I'm having a normal conversation. We are both coming at this at the same amount of like passion. And now you're trying to make me feel like I'm like caring too much about this topic that I couldn't give two shits about. Like, I was having a pleasant conversation and now you're making me look like an asshole. I think if someone's losing, it's a really easy way to turn the tables. And it's a way of like, oh, girls are so emotional. Like, oh, I don't want to upset you. That's another one. I don't want to upset you seems like they're being the nice guy, but it's like, you weren't upsetting me.
Yeah, that's the like no offense. The like, like if I just say this little throwaway thing, can I just be an asshole for 30 seconds?
Right.
Like, no, you can't. That
doesn't also, if I was really upset, I would leave this conversation. Like, I'm not a glutton for punishment. Anyways, yeah, I'm not. Wow. It's not like I have any personal relation to that one.
I love how mine are all just like, yeah, it's so annoying when like, you know,
someone
like,
jaywalks.
Someone cuts you off in traffic. Like, oh God, it sucks.
I hate when I forget my password.
And Delaney's like, this really, really personal part of my life that affects my personal relationships and everything I do has been irking me for years. Like, I am spilling my guts here. Oh, you don't think jaywalkers that give you shit-eating grins is relatable?
No, I do. I think that both parts are relatable, but I think you're saying that mine are really personal, but I feel like most people have experienced mine too.
That's true. That's true. The like quiet liar, or what did you call it?
Yeah, the lazy liar.
The lazy liar. That one definitely hits me at home. That one, like, it gets coupled too with the like I'm on my way people, where you're like, oh, you are not on your fucking way. Like, I can see you on Find My Friends. You are in your apartment. Like, don't text me in the car when 1, you have no intention of getting here for another 45 minutes.
1,000%.
Well, so for perspective, everyone, this is kind of what prompted us to do the pet peeves, is Delaney and I have very similar opinions on the correct etiquette when you are invited to an event.
Yes.
And if you think that what I'm about to say is controversial, you are the fucking problem, and I hate you.
I'm shocked you haven't said the one that like has spurred this off.
I didn't want to steal it from you.
No, please go ahead.
So, pet peeve numero uno. Like,
or number 4.
Pet peeve number 4, which I think is the one that gets me the most viscerally upset, is when people are just late to things. And right, if it's like a big house party and the host says 8 p.m. and you show up at 9, whatever. But I'm talking about like if it's a dinner party or like the host has put significant effort in, like it's a game night and like the people at the party are waiting for you to be there in order to start the party. Or it's like, and people somehow think that it's like their God-given right to just be an hour and a half late to these types of things.
People have taken fashionably late so far.
Yeah.
And it's really confusing to me because, like, if you make a dinner reservation, everyone shows up on time. But if you have anything at a house, people show up 30 to 2 hours late. Yeah.
And they're always just, like, doing that thing that's, like, the one that really irks me, too, is, like, the, like, hey, I'm going to be really late. Just get started without me. I'll, like, eat whatever's left. And it's like, dude, I invited you to this dinner party, and I spent all day cooking this delicious food. I don't want you to have a cold bite of turkey and go home. Like, if you said yes to the invite, that I expected you to actually be able to show up here and be on time. It's like, it annoys me.
Totally. I also just, like, don't get, like, even if it's not something like a dinner party or a game night where it requires the people, even if it's, like, a pregame.
Yeah.
Like, if I host a pregame, first of all, like, we're all going to be going somewhere else afterwards anyway. So, like, the point of the pregame is, like, it's casual everyone comes, we drink a lot, and then we leave. It's not like a party where you need to wait till more people are there so it's not awkward. Like, a pregame's already going to be intimate.
Yeah.
And if people are an hour and a half late, then it's just me and like 3 random people. Like, that's fine. It's just like really embarrassing. And you put the host in like a really vulnerable situation when like they're making an effort to do something nice for you guys.
Yeah. It's like, let everybody who's listening in on a little secret. If you've never hosted something before, you don't care who shows up and when. You just care that people are showing up as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't care if you don't know the host that well. They're going to be happy to see you because you were invited to this event.
Yeah.
Just get there on time, and then the event can start and everyone can have fun, which is ostensibly the goal of the event.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the host is just like answering texts.
Hope people come.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, have you ever hosted something and said show up at 8 and then you weren't ready at 8? Like, of course you're going to be ready. And then you're just, twiddling your thumbs until everyone decides it's like fashionably late enough to come to your event?
Yeah.
You know what it is for me? It really comes down to the simple fact of like, and this might put some people on blast, but I truly believe it. If you're late to things frequently, you believe that your time is more valuable than my time.
1,000%. I say that all the time.
And it's like, okay, I get it. I see where you're coming from. You think that you are more important and that your time is more valuable than my time.
Right.
It does not bother you at all that I waste 30 minutes of my life so long as you get your 30 minutes to do what you want to do. It's
1,000%.
a very narcissistic thing to be, is to be late.
1,000%.
Because you're just like, I want to get to the party at the moment where it's perfect for me to be there. I want to be the last person there so everyone's already ready to receive me.
Right.
It's like, you need to put in a little bit of work and like understand that the other people there want your presence there so that it can be fun for everyone.
And like be vulnerable. Like if you're the first person there, like it's okay to be uncomfortable for like a couple minutes.
Yeah, meet someone new.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so number 4, like, thank God we're finally getting to something that's not like so dramatic for me. This one I think I do sometimes, which is gross.
You said doo-doo. just wanted to point that out.
Touche. So like I'm open to criticism and I know I'm being a hypocrite, but it really grosses me out when other people do it. Okay. So my number 4 is when people chew and talk with their mouth open.
Oh, yeah. I hate that.
Disgusting. Especially like if you're talking and chewing at the same time and like spit's flying out and like food particles. It's like so gross that like I can't even.
You should never see food ever once it's entered someone's mouth.
Right.
That should be the last time that food is seen.
Yeah. And it is hard, especially when you're having a one-on-one dinner with someone and you're like carrying a conversation. It's very hard not to talk when you have food in your mouth.
Yes, I agree.
Because there's like awkward pauses. So like sometimes I'll be talking like with my hand over my mouth.
I think the hand over mouth is the most elegant way to like get away with that. Because there are like times in dinner conversations, and especially if it's like a first date or like someone you don't know super well, like when you have those opportunities to like interject your clever opinions or like when you really need to respond to something, you can't just like sit back and wait to finish your bite of food.
Right.
But, you know, you have to be able to like at least put a hand over your mouth or like give one of the like, I'm going to answer, but I'm going to finish my food first.
But sometimes that's such a long time. I guess I'm changing my criticism of the talking with the mouth open to being like, I guess my real pet peeve is people that talk with food in their mouth or chew with their mouth open and have like no self-awareness of how gross it is.
Okay. Yes, 100%.
Because I'm kind of okay with people talking with a mouthful of food if they're like, oh my God, like, I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah. 100%. Like, oh, I need to talk right now, but I have a mouthful of food and like this is awkward. I wish this hadn't had happened, as opposed to someone who's just like, bite. Anyways, I was saying, like,
right.
Who's just like, that's just a natural moment, part of their life.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, number 5 for me is windshield wipers wiping the rain away too fast.
Oh my God, Drew.
So
you want the rain to stay?
No. I'm saying like there's like windshield wipers have like 2 speeds, it seems. It's like once every 8 seconds where the rain builds up way too much, or it's just going fucking ham.
That's a your car thing.
None of the rain, like in the rain, doesn't have long enough to stay, so it starts like squeaking. It's like the windshield becomes too dry.
Your car must be different from my car. My car is like 5 speeds.
Everyone who's listening to this right now is like, yes, Drew.
That's
is the most
so not
relatable
true.
one, and you're just
No
in
one
the
cares.
minority.
I thought you were going to say like when people spray their windshield wiper fluid and then it hits the car behind them.
I actually kind of love that. I think that's such a power move. That's such a power move.
Like, I'm so sorry that you don't feel like there's enough water on your windshield.
I have more silly ones that might be more relatable. I hate whenever a basketball announcer says, good defense, but better offense. It's either good defense or it's good offense. That's just the stupidest thing you can say.
You used such like a hyper-specific pet peeve instead of just saying like people using cliches.
Okay,
like that could have been a good pick.
Okay, people using cliches, but I want it to be. I wanted to be specific.
You need to start with the general and then use an example.
But if I just said people using cliches, the first thing you'd be like is like, well, like what?
And then you could have given this example.
Okay,
that would have been perfect. Okay, I'll hit you with my number 5. Mm-hmm. This is like actually groundbreaking, Drew. Okay. For the first time ever, I can say my top 5 without my opposing partner taking a single one. In fact, you didn't take a single one off of my list of like 10.
Really? I mean, that just shows how different we are.
It's true. It's true.
This is a really deep insight into how our brains work. I just sit at home getting angry about what traffic violations occurred to me in the given day. And Delaney like thinks deeply about her relationships and like how she interacts with other people.
5th draft pick for biggest pet peeves is someone walking at the same pace as you.
Oh, that's a good one.
It happens to me all the time. Someone crosses the street and then they choose to walk directly in front of me, but don't speed up at all. It's like, are you insane?
It shouldn't be awkward, but it's so awkward.
And it's a choice. You can feel someone's energy. So like, a normal person like myself is like, okay, I either need to slow down or speed up for the next like 30 seconds just to create some distance. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing that, honestly, you're a psychopath.
Yeah, you need to like get at least 10, 15. You can go the same speed. You just have to be way far away from each other.
Yeah. You have to make the effort of for the first 10 seconds of the interaction, either really speeding up or really slowing down.
Are you someone who speeds up or who slows down usually?
Obviously speeds up.
Okay. So you would like speed past them.
Yeah. I have one experience that happened to me in New York like 2 months ago when I was there where a guy walked with me essentially for like 30 blocks and like I would turn right, he would turn right. And it wasn't like he was following me. Like we were walking at the same clip.
I think what you're like describing is a stalker.
So I was really creeped out.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing anything like stalkery. In fact, like I would turn and like he maybe wouldn't turn. Like he would go straight. Oh. And then we would meet back up again.
It's like you were just going to the same place.
Yeah. For 30 blocks.
Okay.
And I was so frustrated. Like I really feel people's energy. So like I was getting so annoyed that he was going the same pace as me. And I was like honestly hoping he would do something creepy so that I could be like, what the hell are you doing here? Yeah. Like, please leave me alone. But he was just like walking at my pace. So I couldn't make any egregious remarks.
Question.
Yeah.
Was he adjusting his pace to walk with you?
I mean, I was adjusting my pace to try to like flee.
So that means he was absolutely adjusting his pace to walk with you?
I don't think so. It wasn't obvious.
Okay.
It kind of felt like a coincidence.
You just kept being in the same. Because, I mean, also, there's like, it's New York City. You were probably going like 10 over, 20 up. There's a lot of different ways to go 10 over, 20 up. 1,000%. You don't have to walk the same blocks.
Totally. And like you get in your own head of like what could be happening. But if that happened in San Francisco, I think I would call 911. If someone was walking with me for more than 4 blocks, I would call 911.
If someone walks in San Francisco for more than 4 blocks, they have to call 911 because they clearly just summited the biggest hill you've ever seen.
Okay, well, do you want to run through your top 5 really quickly, and then I will as well?
Oh, God, yeah, if I can remember them. Starting from the top. Number 1, people who jaywalk incorrectly. Number 2, when passwords are not telling you, when websites don't tell you what special restrictions they put on your password, so you get your password wrong like 16 times in a row. Number 3, when people are trying to save food, but they save way too little amounts of food, like 1 bite of food in the fridge, and then it just goes bad and they throw it out. Number 4 is when people are late to things. It's the worst. And number 5 is whenever like basketball announcers or football announcers use stupid cliche phrases like, it was good defense, but better offense.
Love that. Okay, my top 5 biggest pet peeves were number 1, a lazy liar. Number 2, people that ask for advice but never take it. Number 3, people that say, why are you mad, or calm down when you're having a normal discussion. Number 4, someone chewing with their mouth open or talking with their mouth full. And number 5, someone walking at the same pace as you. Lovely. Okay, so tell us who you think won the debate. But try to be gentle. Drew's feelings can get hurt easily.
Delaney, calm down. You're way too mad right now. You are way too angry right now. I feel like we should just talk about this rationally.
And thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a review and follow me on Instagram at DebatableDelaney. Thanks, Drew, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Bye, guys. See you next week. I mean, that's debatable. No, that's debatable.